When dealing with people, remember that you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but rather with creatures of emotion. Dale Carnegie. Welcome to Life in Perspective. I'm Joseph Yeager, and this is another Perspective on Life. A very dear friend called me a few days ago sharing a challenge he's having with a colleague at work. My friend has been at this job for a year, while his colleague has been there for 20. The tension has supposedly become so oppressive that my friend dreads going to work in the morning. With a new house just purchased, a baby on the way, and supposedly jobs paying this well hard to come by, this isn't exactly a great time for this to be happening. Is it ever a good time for this to be happening? Before I continue, please consider subscribing if you haven't already by clicking the subscribe link below. You may also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's only natural when facing a conflict with other people to begin by making it about us. What did I do? What's his or her problem? I didn't yell. I didn't do anything to him or her. In other words, we get defensive and neglect to take responsibility. That's not to say that on occasion we're not right and the other person is perhaps legitimately nuts, but I dare say that's not the majority of cases. Besides, if someone lasts 20 years at a job and has been promoted a couple of times, we may want to reconsider our stance on the matter, no matter how much we think we're right. Now, to be fair, my friend spent 22 years in his previous position and was highly accomplished and respected. Having to start fresh at a new position and being spoken to in a manner he wasn't used to since being a freshman in high school was somewhat of an awakening with a splash of an ego bruising. I can understand that, but holding on to that point of view is not a viable solution, especially if the intention is to climb the achievement ladder. As the famous saying goes, beware how you treat people on the way up, because you might meet them again on the way down. Unlike in our personal life, where we can more readily detach ourselves from others, the work environment is a different proposition. We may not have the luxury of just walking away from a colleague or supervisor. We may not like our circumstances, but we are not getting paid to like or dislike who we work with, for, and the tasks we may be responsible to carry out. We are paid to get the job done. And if we choose to stay and collect the pay, then we must fulfill our responsibility. Liking and getting along with everyone is rarely part of the equation. Besides, if you quit your job every time someone ticked you off, you'll be job hunting for the rest of your life and have no stability or credibility. And so, with that said, what is a better approach to the situation? How do we bridge the gap with what may be a less than ideal colleague with whom we have to interact to some extent and not let it ruin our day? I'll start by saying that I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or therapist of any kind. And what I'm about to share with you is based on my experience and learning from highly accomplished leaders and mentors of industry with whom I had the privilege to work. Number one, I've said this before and it's worth repeating. We are the common denominator in every interaction we face. So in dealing with difficult people we must work with, how we act, react, and carry ourselves is our responsibility and within our control. So we must take responsibility for and not lose control of ourselves. Number two, learning as much as we can about and switching places with our difficult colleague may help us understand why they behave in a way we find difficult to deal with. We don't have to agree, like, or accept the behavior, but it may help us stay neutral, less judgmental, and emotionally detached from it. On the flip side, we may find common ground and an understanding that may change the dynamic for the better. Either way, we're better off. Number three, someone whom we perceive to be difficult likely was that way long before our worlds collided, so taking it personally is absurd. Number four, perhaps in their eyes, we are difficult too. No matter what we do, we cannot please all of the people all of the time. Same applies to them. And number five, rather than looking at a difficult colleague as a problem to be rid of, looking at them as a challenge to overcome. An opportunity to learn how to make our time and space more manageable and productive while around them, yet not destructive to our health and spirit. If we have ambitions for advancement and leadership, this mindset is a prerequisite. Of course, we can always choose the easy way out, which is throw a tantrum, quit, blame the difficult person, and find another job. After all, the grass is always greener on the other side until we get there, and we are likely no better either. But it's still a choice. The bottom line is that unless we choose to live in a cave and make a living without interacting with others, difficult people will cross our paths. Some might have just what we want and need to help us get to our desired destination. Some might fade with the wind, and some might even become lifelong friends. We can find out by simply switching places. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let me know what topics you would like my perspective on in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.